Okay. We're back for another week of Outside the Cinema.
Yeah.
I was hoping maybe we would get a week where we both felt good, but apparently not. I feel pretty good today. But you,
that's good. No. 3 years later, it got me. I got some kind of COVID.
Isn't that how it's gonna work, man? Like you stayed in for so long. I mean, that was me. I mean, I got it last Christmas, and I mean, I probably should have got it because I went to a show and then all that stuff. But you still don't really go out a whole lot. So
no, I think it must have come from the high school because before anybody gets any ideas, my two kids are in high school, and I'm not Matt Gaetz. So I think with the stage one show they did Fiddler on the Roof with any music stuff, it's just a bunch of kids all together. Mm-hmm. And I think that might have been what it was, because my job at work, I don't really interact with a lot of crowds, and I don't go anywhere.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
Because I'm trying not to get sick. However, this isn't as bad as I feared, because I had all of that respiratory stuff taken care of last week. So
right timing.
My lungs have been clear the whole time. Not a wheeze. I don't need my inhaler at all. I just can't taste anything. My head feels like it's filled with cement and needles. And, it's just awesome because I'm cold and I'm hot, and then I'm tired and then I'm not.
Sound like a Katy Perry song.
It's weird. Well, she could come over. That's fine.
Nope. Mandatory quarantine.
That didn't happen. All right.
Nope, not going to happen. But what is happening is we've made it to the month of December, and I figure we should just start our yearly catch up on stuff. I know we did new stuff in October, but I feel like there's a bunch of good stuff this year, and I've had a lot of people make suggestions of stuff that we should try to check out. So from here until January, we're gonna do new release genre flicks, and try to catch up as much stuff and do an actual year-end show. And actually, hey, I mean, maybe now that we know that you've had the COVID and I've had the COVID, and maybe we could actually do the year-end show together. Wouldn't that be the strangest thing?
Yeah, my schedule's better, so that might actually help. Yeah.
Like I'm used to doing the show like this now, so it's not even a thing anymore. But it would be cool to maybe do special shows actually in the same room again, which would be cool.
Yeah.
But
I can finally bring that speaker stand to you.
Oh, it's a C stand, is what it is.
Oh, okay.
Different.
All right.
But I'm sorry.
What's the C stand for?
It's got 3 legs, and it's the third letter in the alphabet.
I'll go with that. All right. That's it. When it's set up, they're like, did you set up the speakers? See? There you go.
Did you see the grinding in my head trying to come up with something for that?
It was good. It works.
Yeah. But I'll say, I'm sorry that you feel like crap, bud. That sucks.
Yeah, well, it'll pass, right?
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully.
One way or the other, my body won't be sick anymore.
So this week, we are doing 2 of the films that a lot of people have talked about for this year. We are doing Smile, which we had mentioned a few weeks ago and I thought was a ripoff of It Follows. We were corrected, and I will soon correct that person in our review. And we are doing the sequel to X, and I keep wanting to call it Peggy. Why do I want to keep calling it Peggy?
I don't know. Nobody's named Peggy, are they? There isn't even any pegging in it, so.
Oh, whoa.
Well, I mean, it's about making a porn, so come on.
No, what the hell is the name of it? Paige? No, what the hell's the name of it?
X.
Why am I drawing
Pearl.
Pearl. Thank you. Pearl, the sequel to X, which is the Ty West film from earlier this year. We will do a quick kind of catch up with X because we didn't actually cover it on the show. And I know, Chris, you said you hadn't watched it until we were going to cover this. So that works out pretty good. But let's just get right into this since you are unfortunately under the weather. Let's start. Do you care what should we do first?
No.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm typing Smile in, so we'll start with that, I guess.
Okay. That sounds good.
My name is Dr. Rose Cotter.
What do you want from me?
Why is it that everybody else who's seen it is dead and you're alive? I've seen it too.
You haven't?
It's smiling at me. Carl? But not a friendly smile. The worst smile I've ever seen. I am not gonna keep running. I have to face it. Rose.
Smile. Only in theater and special previews Thursday at 7 p.m.
After witnessing a bizarre, traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Cotter starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain. Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality. Directed by Parker Finn, written by Parker Finn, starring Sosie Bacon, Jesse T. Usher, Kyle Gallner, and Robin Wiegert, and Cal Penn. Okay. One of, and I'm going to speak for you here. If I am wrong, feel free to tell me. Chris and I both agree that one of the best genre horror movies of the last 10, 15, hell, maybe 20 years is It Follows. Correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, definitely in that upper echelon of stuff that's come out in many years, in the last number of years. Smile to me upon seeing the trailers for it. Reminded me very much of It Follows.
It reminded me of what was that Truth or Dare movie?
Truth or Dare, the movie Truth or Dare, or
yeah, there was one movie where they
not
would
Truth
all
or Dare,
have
a Critical Madness,
distorted smile, right? I forget what the movie was.
That doesn't ring a bell.
It was that. It was Truth or Dare. From Universal. Let me it had a girl with a short bob smiling at the camera, face looked a little distorted. 2018, Blumhouse.
It sounds familiar.
Did it? Lucy Hale and a bunch of other people. Yeah, let me send you let me
I can look at it. You don't need to send it. I can just look it up right here.
Yeah, go ahead. If you type in Truth or Dare movie,
the title sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was one of those movies that like had a billion ads and then nobody went to see it.
Right. All right, Truth or Dare. Here we go.
Or people did. I don't know, but the whole thing was that smile on the girl was the whole thing. So it really felt like that. But it's like one of those distorted by an app kind of smiles.
Yeah.
Where like it's completely fake looking.
I remember this movie.
Yeah, I had no intention of watching it.
No, and I didn't watch it either.
Yeah, but that's the first thing it reminded me of.
Apparently, I did watch it. It's on my watch list. That shows just how much of an impression it made.
Great.
Well, anyway, so upon seeing the trailer for this with the people with the creepy smile and an unseen entity stalking our main character, I was getting heavy vibes of It Follows from it. And I apologize, I don't remember who it was, but somebody had emailed us or messaged us after I had mentioned that and said, well, it's got some similar type of like minor themes, but it's actually quite different. And I so was like, all right, we'll check it out. And it had gotten okay reviews. It's a 6.7 on IMDb, which is actually pretty good, I think, for horror movies in this day and age. But the story is fairly simple. You've got Sophie Bacon, who plays Dr. Rose Cotter. She is a psychiatrist working in an emergency ward. So basically, somebody has a mental breakdown. Somebody has issues where they can't control themselves, that they're 5150 or any of those things. She works in the emergency ward of the hospital that handles all that psychiatric stuff. So she has seen some shit. We know as a character that she's had some personal trauma just by the interactions she's had with people, the interactions she has with people about, dealing with stuff and things along those lines. She gets a patient that comes in emergency. She is supposed to be leaving, but the time.
Oh, that's the worst part.
Yeah.
Isn't it? That's the worst. She is left the office and the phone rings, and what one of my kids said was, yeah, I know she's coming back to answer that phone, but she shouldn't hear it.
Nope, you should let it go to voicemail. So she comes back in,
Absolutely.
answers the call, and decides to stay because she very much wants to help people in her job. She's one of those people that is all about helping the others. That's why she does it. She doesn't
Yes.
care if she works 80 hours a week. It's just is what it is. So she comes back in. She has this conversation with a woman. This woman is basically she watched somebody kill themselves in front of her. She tells her this story and is basically she gives her the you're not going to believe me, so I'm not going to even bother telling you. But she has a way with words. She tells her, listen, we've all had trauma. Tell me what's going on. And she is basically just level with me. If I believe it or not doesn't matter. Tell me what you saw. And she tells this story about people. She tells the story about something, some sort of entity, some sort of demon, some sort of dark evil presence that takes the form of people she knows, strangers, and a whole host of others. It's not an entity that essentially, the way it's explained at least, does not take over others' bodies, but presents itself as others. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
She says it, and it smiles at me. And she's like, it smiles at you? Like, what's the problem? She's like, but it's not like a normal smile. It's a smile that's just just wrong. And she's like, okay. And then this woman proceeds to freak out, kill her. No, she doesn't even kill herself. She murders herself.
Yeah.
In front of her.
That's, yeah.
But not before the creepy smile comes across her face, and it is passed on to Rose. And we're off and running.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without getting too deep into the details. No, go for it.
When they show the corpse shortly after, the way she killed herself, the blanket soaked with blood just looks like the sheet's smiling.
Yeah,
I thought that was a
slit her
nice
throat
touch.
from end to end.
Yeah, pretty
so-
deep too.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll get into these newer reviews and not spoil too many specifics for you guys. We'll keep them pretty general, which I think is fair for stuff that's new. So either way, now Rose has seen this. That in itself is enough to make you fucking freak out, lose your shit, whatever. People that are psychiatrists and work in this type of environment, I have the utmost respect for in terms of what they have to deal with on a daily basis, and then we forget that they're people too, so they've got to deal with this. But some of them are going to have their own issues also, and Rose has her own issues. She has deep-seated problems and issues with her mom, who was a mental case throughout her whole life, and she has issues with her sister, who she feels turned her back on them and left her at home with the mother. And there's a lot of deep-rooted things there. So at first, not a whole lot happens. But then when
Excuse me.
Rose
Go
is
ahead.
told...
I just burped.
It's okay. I was going to just go right by it. But so Rose is basically...
That's fine. I like pointing it out.
Yeah, she's basically super traumatized by all this. And her boss is like, hey, listen, you're going to take a week off.
Yeah.
You're taking a week off. Calpen is like, hey, listen, head over to White Castle, grab yourself a half dozen burgers, and relax.
Yep.
And she's
Drop
like,
a
no,
note to
I'm fine. And he's like,
Ex-President
no.
Obama, and we'll all be good.
Right. She's like, I'm fine. And he's like, no, you're not.
Not even a little.
Go away. Come back in a couple weeks.
Well, that's the thing too, because her behavior goes from professional to erratic in to Cal's eyes, it's like a blink of an eye. Like he
Yeah.
says, go home for the day. And then she comes back raving about invisible demons. So
Yeah.
it's pretty jarring.
Yeah, for a character that's supposed to be so rooted in like science and like all of these different things, she definitely becomes unhinged pretty quickly.
I'll give her that. I mean, she saw the stuff. Like
Right,
she's
for
having
sure, for sure.
these crazy hallucinations, and I really love the way that they framed them, because there's sort of a clue in each one that it's not real, but if you're not looking for it or expecting it, it's totally different.
Right.
It gives you a totally different feel, and they really play on the fact that whatever it is that is making you do this is in your body. It's in your head. It can affect you in ways that you have no idea are possible. And we start seeing that in the hospital, and that I love that. Like you feel bad for her. She's smart. She has a good idea of what to do, but she is getting blocked at every angle trying to help herself. So I felt you actually end up feeling a little bad for her.
Yeah, oh for sure. And I think Sosie Bacon that played the part, I thought she did a pretty admirable job. This film fails in a number of other ways, I think. She is not one of them. So as the kind of things go on, she starts to become more and more unhinged. She sees, a patient smiling at her. She's at her nephew's birthday party and sees people smiling at her there, but she's also done something that she's unaware of, or something was done for her. And that was the only thing that when I was trying to kind of like piece together exactly what happened. I'm like, that part. Okay. So minor spoiler here. She goes to see the nephew's birthday party. The mother says, buy him a model train. He's really into model trains. So she buys a model train. She's back home. She can't find her cat named Mr. Mustache, right? Or was the
Mustache?
cat
Yeah,
Mustache.
Yeah.
So she can't find the cat or whatever. She goes to the party the next day. She gives the present. The kid opens the present. The dead cat's in the box. And I had a hard time backpedaling there, trying to figure out like, did she? Because this is prior to her really becoming unhinged. So like, did she kill the cat and put it in the box? Did the thing put the cat in the box? Like, it's not really explained. And
no, I think it was whatever's in her did it.
Okay,
because it knew this is for later, and it has a plan. It's not a dumb demon, right? And all right, I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm like, all right, this is like so straightforward. Whatever. But earlier I said to Ripley, I'm like, okay, so Rip, have you seen a cat yet? And this was the third time she was feeding the cat, right? I'm like, Rip, I haven't seen a cat at all, but she keeps feeding this cat. Where's the cat? And then it goes on a little bit longer, and then we get another hallucination. And I said to them as it's getting closer, I'm like, so do you think she actually bought a train? And they started, oh my God, it's the cat. I was so happy all of that came together. It was like the grossest happiness. It's just weird. And
it was effective though, man. The look on that little kid's face when he opened the box was
yeah. I was pretty happy with that whole thing, that whole section, because that just alienates everyone.
So
like there's
true.
no coming back from that.
So true.
Because the demon is really just pushing you to kill yourself.
It feeds off the feed. All right, so
yeah,
here's kind of where my issues with this came in. I liked the setup. Not a wholly original idea in that we've already mentioned, whether it follows The Ring or like anything like this is not a fully like new idea.
Oh, there's 100. There's 100. These things are attached to you kind of things. Yeah.
So up to this point with the cat, I was like, okay, I'm like, I see where we're going here. But then this film, for me, at least again, for me, really kind of failed from this point on, because why films like The Ring and It Follows are so effective is they're films that do a really good job of withholding information from you to make you question and to make things more effective. Now, this film withholds information from you, but gives you other things that undoes the withholding of that information. So this demon, entity, ancient evil, whatever it is, I don't want to fucking know anything about it.
Right.
And you know what?
Right.
Don't fucking show it to me.
Yeah.
The best part of It Follows is you never actually see what it is. You never find out where it came from. You never find out any information on it. Now, they don't give you information in this, but they sure as fuck show you what it is. And I had a hard time with that.
That might have been a little too much. Like I like the idea of it being incorporeal.
Yeah,
but
the best parts are the creepy smiles.
Yeah, yeah. I love the idea though that you are possessed by this thing or whatever, and the only way to win and stay alive is to kill someone else. Because the whole idea is you kill yourself in front of somebody and it passes on that way. A witness, a passive witness to a death. So, but are we, let's just put it out. Are we going to recommend this? Are we going to spoil the end or anything? What are we going to do?
I don't think I want to spoil. I don't want to spoil the end. It's too new to spoil the end.
Okay. It does. Okay. So I'll say this. It puts the main character in a unique position for saving their lives or other people's lives or anybody's life in this movie. And it really, I think that might have been the crux of what they came up with. Like, let's make it an impossible choice. For instance, let's do a Kobayashi Maru, and then, the audience can see it's actually a difficult decision to have to make.
I agree. And this film does some things well. It does. Overall, I think it's pretty pedestrian with touches of interesting stuff, if that makes sense. I think the look of it, where they kind of use the inverted shots and the split shots, do a really good job making it visually more interesting to look at. I think the score is quite good. The lead actress is quite good. And the basic ideas are there. I just was not a huge fan of the way they played it out and what they choose to let you in on, but then withhold other things. And it was kind of almost like, just give me all of it. Give me, and this isn't an overly long film. This is about, it's under 2 hours. I want to say, if you take out the credits, probably maybe 148. Part of me wanted to have that section of the research of where it came from. But at the same time, I think they should. I just really didn't like when they showed it to us, and it took away the creepy element of, her seeing her mother or something. I wish it had stayed down that route rather than special effects giant monster thing.
It's like that lipstick demon in The Conjuring, or when the guitarist from Slipknot shows up in Sinister.
Oh yeah.
It's that's not whatever.
Yeah, Sinister is great when you're seeing the creepy videos of the family hanging and stuff, and then they start, and then fucking Metal Face from Slipknot shows up. This is kind of like that. I was watching it, and all of a sudden the demon from the Aphex Twin video showed up, and I was like, I didn't need to see that. So, all right. Well, I think I don't think we'll be able to do it without ruining. That was really loud in my headphones. All right, Chris, do you recommend? What is your grade for Smile?
Smile, I am gonna recommend it as a really, really well-made B movie. Whoever did all the setups and the shots and cinematography and stuff, they got a great eye. They really added a visual language to this that didn't exist or doesn't exist in shitty horror movies. But the script is aside from a couple of really smart ideas with the monster and stuff, or how it works and everything, it's a straightforward, like, one little Indian story. You know, it's The Ring. How do we beat it? But it's well acted. The effects are actually hit or miss depending on what frame of mind our main character's in. If you notice, there's a knife at one point that is horrible CG, and then you find out that it's imaginary, and you're like, oh, the movie's tricking me too. So I'm because there were some scenes of good CG, and then there was some just like made for TV shit in there. And I have to say, if you can do it one way, you can do it both ways. So it's got to be on purpose. But other than that, it was just like, okay, this is fine. It's all right. I'll give it a C+ and a medium recommend, because it's just, it's watchable. It's fine.
glowing recommendation there.
I'll watch another one because I know that they'll ramp up the mythology of the creature and stuff, and I don't think it has too many after that, honestly. I mean, it'd be how do you change up that story infinitely?
Yeah, I'm with you for the most part. It's a tepid recommend. It's not something that, like, I mean, I see a lot of people talking like pretty highly of this flick and how it's one of the best horror films of the year. And again, I'm on board with you. It's thoroughly fine. There's nothing bad about it. Like, there's nothing in it. Like, there was things that, like, decisions that were made in the film that, like, for me, just bothered me. And I'm like, this isn't exactly what I wanted to see. But, like, I understand why they went that way. So, I'll give it a C. Yeah, I'll give it a C. It's not something I would ever like revisit again to rewatch, I don't think. But like you, if they were to do a sequel and maybe try to dig into that mythology, since you gave us what everything looked like and you gave us all the, you know, the nuts and bolts, just no backstory, maybe I would check that out, I think. Yeah, I think I would check it out. So yeah, I'll give it a C. A C, I think a C and a tepid recommend. So smile. Not a complete ripoff, though. It is not complete. It is not a complete flawless ripoff. It is definitely. I feel there's definitely some inspiration there for sure.
But they took it and created something new, so that's good.
Well, I always wonder too, when you see stuff like that, which is so obviously influenced by something else, if that person actually thinks they could just do it better. Oh, It Follows was pretty good, but you know what would have been awesome if there was a 10-foot tall demon at the end of it. I don't know if that's what they thought, but all right then. All right, swiftly moving on. Ty West, a guy that we have had a love-hate relationship on this show over the years.
You love him.
Think me? No, not necessarily. I've actually probably disliked more of the stuff than I've liked. I do like House of the Devil quite a bit, and I think that's about it.
House of the Devil to me is like Audition. It's got a whole movie's worth of setup, and then the ending you figure is going to happen.
Yeah, I liked it, though.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm not arguing that at all.
So so Pearl is the next review for this week, starring Mia Goth, and directed and written by Ty West. This is interesting because this is actually a prequel to a film he released earlier this year called X. X was one of the probably most highly touted genre flicks of early in the year. I watched it at the time. I enjoyed it. I actually thought it was pretty good. I liked it. And they did basically this prequel right back to back with it. And that wasn't the original plan. I guess from what I gathered of readings from some of the interviews and stuff is that this film was made early on in the pandemic. So Ty West and his crew were really one of the few groups that were actually working during this time. Mm-hmm. They were at in New Zealand. They filmed this and had a number of days in quarantine, and him and Mia Goth, the star of it, started to kind of plot out what the backstory for the character would be so that she would have a better understanding for X. But the issue was that they then expanded the story so much that they were like, well, this could actually make a pretty good sequel. They pitched it to the people at the studio. The people bought on. They finished making X and then immediately went into production on Pearl.
Yeah.
The dog friggin' wants water. Here, I'm going to play the trailer. I'm going to get the dog water,
Okay.
and we'll figure it all out.
All right.
Please, Lord, make me the biggest star the world has ever known, so that I'll make it far, far away from this place.
Well, caring for your family during these times is admirable. But you only get one take at this life.
If only they would just die.
Pardon?
Nothing. I want to be special, dancing up on the screen like the pretty girls in the pictures.
I will not let you leave this farm again.
I'm worried there may be something real wrong with me.
Rumor has it they only take one gal per town.
We're looking for someone with X Factor.
Has to be me.
How about a film nobody else has seen?
Is it legal?
Will be eventually.
I know what I've done. Bad things. Terrible, awful, murderous things. I want to be loved from as many people as possible. But truth is, I'm not really a good person.
All right. Well, there you have it. Whoops. I don't know what I just did there. Pearl, the prequel to X. Before we get into too much of Pearl, Chris, what were your thoughts on X?
It was boring. It was boring, and it seemed to be made for shock value. There's nothing original there. I did not enjoy it. The characters were shitty. And I think Ty West really makes beautiful looking movies, but he needs somebody else to write the scripts. His films are boring. The Sacrament? Are you fucking kidding me? Call it Jim Jones. God damn it. That is always going to piss me off.
I agree with you there, man. I agree with you there 100%.
I think he gets a lot of credit, and I think he is a good filmmaker, but I don't think he has good scripts. This Pearl character? Fuck that. It's just, she's boring. What? Oh, she wants to dance and she can't, so she's going to kill people. Who fucking cares? She out of nowhere stabbed somebody in the throat in X. Why? What was the lead up to that? There was none.
Yeah. I think
I don't know. No. I just wasn't into it.
that's
Just
fair.
wasn't just like you weren't into Terrifier 2. This hit me the wrong way. Just yeah.
And you watched X first, right?
No.
Oh, you watched this first. Okay.
Yeah, because I figured,
think-
what does it matter?
Strangely enough, I think that Pearl actually gave me a better look at what X was, and actually made me like the
That's
first
true.
film more than this one. I liked X
Okay.
for what it was, and that's definitely a film that is very much like Ty West's ode to 70s smut, because it's shot like a 70s porno. It looks like a 70s porno. It's about a 70s porno. And this
Yeah,
is
but
very
who
much-
cares? Why who wants to is that a setting people are clamoring for?
No, but I mean, is any setting something people are clamoring for? I mean, how many retro 80s films have we seen or 90s nostalgia? I'm not going to fault the guy for that.
I mean, I'll watch those.
He wanted to make a 70s style, cheap looking. Like, there's not. I mean, I'm not going to fault that. What I am going to fault is lack of characters.
Yeah.
But I agree that the look of his films is far superior to the content of them, and this is him because it's the prequel. It takes place in 1918, and it's his ode to the big, massive Technicolor films of not even okay. So this also bothered me a little bit too. So it takes place in 1918, right? Silent film. That's what's going on then. But he made this very big, like 1940s style Technicolor film. So it's not a film that looks of the time it's presenting. It's a film that is romanticizing a time of like 30 years prior, which I thought was kind of an interesting choice. Which I guess he also they went to the studio and they said that they wanted to film it in black and white, and the studio said no, so they went over the top instead and went oversaturated and made it like a fucking watercolor painting come to life.
Oh, that's fair. They went Wizard of Oz. If we can't do black and white, we'll do extreme Technicolor. Okay.
Yeah, they did.
All right.
And the look of the film is great. I think the score is great. It has got the the very classic over the top old school style MGM like musical boom at the beginning with the very stylized titles, and I liked all that. It felt like a nice homage to that stuff. But then the film starts. So the character of Pearl is interesting. I feel like Mia Goth's portrayal of her is she's giving it everything, and I think she does an admirable job with it. I think she's getting a lot of praise. Maybe it's a little too much. I mean, she's good in this. I don't think she's the world changer that people have kind of made it out to be, though.
She's weird looking.
I think that's part of the thing, though, is like she has a very interesting look, though.
I know that was really mean, but
no, but I know what you mean, though. It's very
watching
obvious
her.
X.
Yeah, well, in X, they give her the 70s hair and the blue eyeshadow, and the fact that she has very fair, nearly invisible eyebrows, kind of, for me, places her face in an uncanny valley where I know who she is, I know the character she's playing, but every time I'm like, ugh. Is that the? Oh no, that's not the monster. Okay, there's okay, but okay. When you remove eyebrows from a human being, they look alien. That's why they do it to characters generally. And I had a real hard time looking her in the eye in the movie because she has no eyebrows, and that's just a thing. I don't know. But no, I mean, she has one monologue in this. And so I wanted to like this, but she is the dumbest fucking character I've seen in a movie in a long, like the dumbest main character. Absolutely. Outside of Forrest Gump. Like she's just stupid. Literally the stupidest person.
And the thing that I think makes that even harder to kind of swallow is this film doesn't build to anything. Like it very much is like looking at her. So if you watch X, she is this, she is the old woman in the house. She is not like, which I didn't even realize that Mia Goth played both of those characters. Until I watched this, like I didn't realize that they were the same character. I was kind of like, why there was recast the same
no
girl?
Need for that. Yeah,
no, there wasn't.
And there were scenes where they couldn't have been played by the same person.
Right. But overall, and you know what I mean. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So this is definitely supposed to be a build and a break in her sanity. I get the idea of like, she's this character from the years 1918. She's trapped in this house with her overbearing mother, her invalid father. Her husband is away at war, and and like she's just like she has these dreams of stardom, and I get the idea of the build to the break, and they keep giving you these like little hints that like she's not right. Like there's something wrong from the get-go, like when she kills the goose at the beginning. But then she feeds the goose to the alligator, so I'm like, well, she killed this goose in cold blood, but then she fed the alligator. So I'm like, I was able to justify that in my mind.
But she fed it a goose, not a chicken. So it's like, And also the alligator was pretty much just a garbage disposal. It was just a rancor or a spot in the Addams family. It was like, okay, so that's there.
But I had a hard time getting into it because I didn't know what we were building to. And X is a quote unquote smart slasher in terms of like giving you different layers and stuff. As it kind of reveals itself. The problem with Pearl is that all of that stuff has already been revealed in X. So we know where she's going, and we know like exactly where the character's like coming from before we actually see it. And I always have a hard time with when a director makes the choice to have a reprehensible character and you try to put them in a light of like, you're going to feel bad for them. A sympathetic light. You put them in a sympathetic light. And that's what he tries to do here. But I'm going to be honest, I didn't see anybody do anything to Pearl to make her break. You know what I mean? She's broken from the get-go. So it's really hard for me to be sympathetic or to start to care about your character if you're not going to really give me a reason to.
Yeah, if your character is going to rent out a place on their property and give the people privacy, and then you go and sneak on them and you watch them all banging and filming, like, that's not their fault. That's on you. You are a spy. You are a voyeur. And go fuck yourself.
Right.
I mean, she really, she brought it on herself in X. And there was one part that I really liked in this. All right, so we got the projectionist, who's a fucking freak as well, because he's, got porn. And
showing her the dirty pictures.
He's just showing her, right? But they have sex, and then I'm not even going to mention the situation around them having sex, but after they have sex, she comes back the next morning, or it's this. She gets up to go or whatever, but she says some stuff, and he's like, really wishes his dick was detachable at this point, because he wants every part of him that touched her to be off of him, because she goes from 0 to 5150 right away. Like it's just boom, done. And you can see, and this is one of the few things I liked in the whole movie, you could see the look on the projectionist dude's face be like, yeah, I got a great new girlfriend. Oh, shit, she's going to eat my body.
She's insane.
Raw.
There was, one of the theories, though, is that the projectionist never even actually came to the house. That it was all, like, in her head. But we see her push the car into the water, and then we see the car in the water later on, so I don't buy that.
But he did.
Oh, yeah, he did. He did. He real did. But I see a lot of people talking about that 5-minute monologue that she spews out and how it's Oscar-worthy, and it's like, come on.
If Toni Collette didn't get nominated for
Muriel's Wedding. Oh.
Yeah. Well, there's that, but the other one, Hereditary. If she didn't get nominated for Hereditary, this doesn't belong in the same conversation.
Agreed. And it's not that good. Not that good.
It's not, because
like
she's just a whiny little kid. Yeah.
It's unhinged. And it also bothered me, the friend that's there that's listening to, she's the sister-in-law, but she's the friend listening to this whole thing. And I'm like, okay, so she knows she's nuts. She knows she's nuts. She's basically spluttered out that she's a murderer and she's killed her parents and all this stuff and how she's been killing animals and like all these things. And I'm like, if I'm in that position, there's very much a way that I'm going to react knowing that this person is obviously super fragile. And
boot to the head.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say flip the table on top of her.
Incapacitation.
I'm not going to say anything and just kind of slowly walk your way out of the house. So that bothered me too.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is the perfect example of Ty West, whereas he has so much good stuff going for him, and he just doesn't commit in the right places. He commits for sure, but it's never in the right places.
But it's almost like you want it to go in a certain direction, but he's holding it back because he doesn't want it to be supernatural or whatever, or I don't know. But I want to be honest, sometimes movies about just straight up murderers is boring.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you need an element in there. And once the mother was out of the picture, there was nothing. There was no conflict between any of these characters.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I really feel that this sequel almost, although it made me like the first one more, it almost kind of does a disservice to that film because it kind of takes away what makes that film a little bit more interesting to me. Because
she's just jealous.
Yeah, she's jealous and crazy.
Great. That's shitty motivation.
So it's not.
It's actually boring motivation. Not shitty. Yeah. It's boring.
It's I mean, uninspired. It's uninspired. So it's the oldest thing in the book. If there could have just been other ways to make it more interesting, because it looks great. The music is great. I think Mia Goth does a pretty good job. I don't think it's an Oscar-worthy performance. Some people want to make it out to be.
No, they want their genre to have recognition, and I totally get that.
And I get it too. But this film isn't that movie. This film isn't that movie. No. And it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. There's no final girl.
Literally.
There's no anything. It's she cracks, she kills some people, and then that's over.
The husband shows up at the end.
That's it.
To a house full of dead people, and we're supposed to believe he hung around the whole time?
Apparently. Because it's the same husband in the first movie. And there's a third one coming. So
yeah, I know. About that girl, the other one that Mia Goth played in X.
Yeah,
I don't like her. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care about these characters. This is like Hatchet all over again. It's I want to. You're going to make a bunch of them. That's great. I'd like to, but I don't care about the characters at all.
It's fair.
It's just not interesting to me. I don't know.
All right, well. All right, Chris, do you recommend, maybe give me a quick grade for both of them and whether you recommend both of them? I know we didn't get too
all right. You know what? I'm going to stick to my guns and I'm not going to recommend this because of everything I said prior.
That's fair. 20 minutes of a review.
Yeah, they are good-looking movies for what they are trying to emulate. So I cannot fault that. Like I said earlier, he's got a great eye for setting up shots and all that. But it's the stories, it's the characters. They have no depth. And I know like they got some superficial stuff, but I don't know. I didn't give a shit about anybody in here. Like not a single person had a redeeming character and characteristic in any of these movies.
It's true.
And the prissy church girl is gonna do a porn scene. Come on, that's as fucking cliched as oh, she liked it, when she was raped. Like, come on, get off of that shit. Ugh. Anyway, so No, I'm not going to recommend these. I'm going to give them both C minuses. Keep them even. Nah.
All right. I'm going to recommend them both. I'm not. I'm going to give X a higher recommend. And if you watch and enjoy X, and you want to get more of the background of the characters, then Pearl, I think, is worth watching. I think this film for me definitely stems from that hype machine of like, oh, Pearl's amazing, oh, X is amazing. So I was more critical going into it. I was lucky to see X before it got super, super hyped. So I think maybe I didn't have as much of a game in it as this one. But overall, I mean, they're both fine. X is better. I think X is a better film. I think what they tried to do with Pearl, I can understand and appreciate wanting to give that character the background, but I think it does the character and the effectiveness of the character in X a disservice by giving that background and having that whole backstory and seeing it so completely. It's one thing to get bits and pieces of it. It's another thing when it's spelled out for you. But then, of course, the sequel, I mean, the prequel, it's just too much. It's just too much. And I do have to say, though, that final scene of the credits where she's smiling at the camera in a non-cut shot for a few minutes, that's like probably the most effective scene in the whole film.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna add a little bit to my review. I'm gonna lighten it a little bit because I had a thought. Okay. This was at the start of the pandemic. Right? They were already essentially bubbled together making X, right?
Yep.
So they went right into production on this, and I am not going to fault any of the people involved in this for continuing to work when the rest of the world shut down. Good for them. They found a way to do it, and that's impressive. That should be applauded, ingenuity like that. The result was Pearl, which is fine. It's fine. But yeah, I want to give them all credit though for figuring out a way to do something that pretty much the rest of the planet was having a hard time doing. So good for them.
Yeah.
And hey, he got a movie made. So good.
He's had a bunch of them made now, so.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's see what Joe thought he's doing. Is it Cult of Chucky he's doing this week?
Oh shit, I have no idea.
Or did he do Cult of Chucky last week?
No, he wasn't doing the series, right?
No, I wasn't doing the series.
I remember a lot of semen jokes. Wasn't Seed last week?
Maybe. Let's just listen and I'm sure
he'll tell us, right?
I hope so.
Well, hello, Bill. Hello, Chris. And hello, OTC Nation. It's your boy Joe here, and this week Bill took me from the big old creepy house to the big old creepy insane asylum. Because he made me watch Cult of Chucky.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so according to a friend, I missed an after-credits thing in Curse of Chucky where Andy makes his big return. Hooray! One of the most annoying screen children I've ever seen is back. Real quick, top 8 most annoying children in movies, and go. Number 8, Veruca Salt from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Number 7, Danny Madigan, the kid from The Last Action Hero. Fuck that kid. Yeah. Number 6, the kid from Liar Liar. Number 5, while I kind of feel bad that we all bullied him out of acting as a child, he still sucks, but the kid that played Anakin Skywalker in the first Star Wars gimmick. Number 4, the boy kid from Jurassic Park. I grew up a tried and true nerd, and even I wanted to give this kid a fucking wedgie and stuff him in a locker.
Hey,
Number
he was
3,
a nerd.
fucking Reggie the Reckless from Friday the 13th Part 5. If I need to save you more than once in an evening, you are on your goddamn own, kid. Number 2, Andy fucking Barclay. And number 1, just for being a weird-looking kid and having, presumably, an even worse kid do your English voiceover, it's Bob from House by the Cemetery. I know. Listen. Italian directors were famous for actually killing animals on screen. We couldn't just work that one kid into the mix. All I'm saying is all press is good press, my dudes. Anyway, Andy is now an adult who is keeping Chucky's living head in a safe after a miserable date. He goes back to his house that nobody but a partner in a law firm or a chief surgeon could afford, sparks up a J, and hangs out with his tormentor on a Friday evening. Seriously, though, like we've all had that date. Like that's probably the most genuinely terrifying thing in this film. Andy's like going on a date with this really good-looking redheaded lady, and it so quickly goes south, and it's just like mega awkward. Like kind of like when my sister set me up on a blind date. Like, God, this must have been over 20 years ago, and this girl was hotter than an iron smelting plant. But over the course of dinner, she told me how excited she was to be attending Liberty University in the fall. Oh. If you don't know, that's Jerry Falwell's quote-unquote college. And this was after he cut the Teletubbies Are Turning Your Kids Gay promo. Like, I spent the rest of dinner trying like hell to find a way to gracefully exit stage left. Oh, right, there's a movie here. Nika, from the last movie, got convicted of all the murders that Chucky Dunn did. But they think she's bonkers, and she's now in like a medium security asylum. Now, I try not to look too hard for foreshadowing, but this movie is called Cult of Chucky, and our main cast is a group of mentally unstable people. It's not hard to see where this is going. No, wait. An irredeemable sociopath leading a bunch of mentally unstable people? Looks like Chucky's going to try to make America great again. I'm sorry, I mean make mental health facilities great again. You know what I mean.
They
Clunky
both have
Republican
terrible
joke.
hair.
Nika meets a guy, and 2 minutes later, we cut to them like level 6 fucking in a stairwell. Good for her.
Sure.
You get it, girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's some interesting things going on here. Obviously, they are employing the Nightmare on Elm Street 3 principle with none of the staff believing the inmates that the doll is alive and like is gleefully murderous. Like the last movie, I think they're using the first half as like the slowest of burns so that the second half is going to be spree time. Nika's in a group, and I cannot tell you how long I've been sitting here trying like hell to make a joke connecting Brad Dourif's breakout role in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with his daughter starring in a movie about a group of asylum inmates that he's also in. I got nothing. I just wanted everyone to appreciate the connection. They found, I think, at least in the first half here, of just the right level of nudging you and being like, hey, you get it? Asylum, Brad Dourif, huh? Versus just bashing you over the head with it. All I'm saying is that I'd love for this movie to end with a gigantic Native American man killing Chucky by throwing a water fountain at him. That would make me very happy. There's a lot going on here as we go back and forth between Nika in the asylum and the paranoia, and we establish that there are multiple Chucky dolls, all with Charles Lee Ray's soul in them. It's like Horcruxes or some shit. The other part is Andy in his like fucking rustic wooden almost mansion in the woods, and they have yet to establish how Andy got all this fucking money. Because even if you only had this house on like an acre or two, this is like in the woods, really nice. Everything's made out of like hardwood floors. The walls are hardwood. Like this is like a $500,000 house, easy. He's got the OG Chucky head like mounted, like I said before, and I still feel like that's got to be the catalyst to bring these two stories together. I've kind of held back here. I'm sorry. I held back. But at this point, I don't care what happens. Like, this movie took a turn real quick. They brought literally every single plot line, character, and installment of the franchise together here, put it in a blender, and expect me to drink it with a smile. Even I, Captain ADHD, could focus more than this movie. Every 5 minutes, this thing adds a new layer while forgetting the last. Every 5 minutes, there's a new, hey, remember this? Aren't you glad to see this thing you remember? Huh? Like, there's still 30 minutes left in this thing, and they've already thrown literally all of the spaghetti at the wall, and guess what? Nothing stuck. Like, Tony Khan called, and even he thinks your booking is nonsensical and sloppy. The worst part is, I bet they thought they were coming up with some super clever shit here. Like, I bet you when they were done with writing this, they patted each other on the back and went to the Cat and Fiddle for drinks to congratulate each other on the nuanced and layered thriller masterpiece that they just shat into existence. Seriously, though, if you're in Los Angeles, eat at the Cat and Fiddle. It's really good. I bet you thought I was going to dunk on the movie, but no, this is just like a one-man advertisement for if you're ever in Los Angeles, eat at the Cat and Fiddle. It's really good. Here's the thing. The good. I feel like I've established my love for Canada here. I absolutely love Canada, to the point where at least once a year, I genuinely try to convince my wife to move there. This was definitely, as so many movies are, shot in Canada. The good is how many times someone apologizes in this movie and says, "Oh, geez, I'm real sorry." Real sorry. They don't actually say it that dramatically. It's like, sorry. The bad, this movie is like if you took a nice lobster and a bowl of peanut butter cup ice cream and pickled turnips, and then you just put it in a blender and then tried to drink that shit. Oh. Each individual component on their own is very good. Hey, there's Quarky. There you go. Good boy. Each individual component is very good. Ham-fisted together in a sloppy melange of barely connected scenes, and it's garbage. Side note, Sloppy Melange would be a good name for a ska band. Cult of Chucky's going to get a D+, and I am finishing out the Child's Play movies next week with the one everybody loves. The remake with what's-her-face from Parks and Rec, the cute girl. Everybody loved that one, right? I mean, I heard so many good things about it, and it broke all those ticket sales records. Anyway, that's next week. Until then, fucking be good, everyone.
Oh, man. I got to figure out what I'm going to make him watch next. I don't know. Why I figure that out, I guess we can listen to what Scott has to say.
Yeah, why not?
So I'm just about to lose my voice. So should I do a segment anyway?
Yeah, no. I think it's a pass from me, dog.
Too bad.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. With Reverend Scott.
Dr. Tart's Torture Dungeon.
Hey there, Bill and Chris. This is Reverend Scott. And it's a good thing I always say that at the top of every segment. Otherwise, you might have mistaken me for someone with a much different voice. So let's just jump into giving a grade to your reviews from last week, because I got turkey to go eat, because it's Thanksgiving week. Even though for you, Thanksgiving was last week.
Whoa, what's going on? Like, this is weird.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself trying to think about that one too hard. Let's just hurt ourselves thinking about some bad movies instead. What's that first one, Bill?
The Mansion of Madness, also known as Dr. Tar's Pleasure Dome.
What?
I believe it was called Pop-Tart Torture Dungeon.
What?
Irregardless, let's hear this newly released trailer I just got my hands on. It's debuting live today on the segment.
This was hell on earth. Would I too become a victim of the cages?
A reporter traveling via coach with one of his friends and his female cousin, and they are going. I don't know where they're going, but he was basically so the Gaston is like, hey, can we stop at this this sanitarium that's run by Dr. Maillard? He apparently has some pretty crazy things going on there in terms of diagnosis and treatment. And so his buddy Eugene is like, hey, yeah, we could stop there.
Why not?
What?
Why not? Why not? Let's just stop in this place where we put every person society doesn't like. What could go wrong?
And the answer is everything.
Help me. Help me.
Sorry, lady. No one can help you now. You're in the Doctor Strange Pleasure Dome of Madness, or whatever the fuck.
What?
I think this had a lot of potential based on the source material. Too bad they dropped the ball hard and did a lot of artsy-fartsy Dr. Tartsy stuff. Hell, even Bill's notes about the movie ruined Chris.
So notes made me doubt why I still do the show.
Cool concept, but it's played out by now. A for effort, C for content. Kind of like my segment.
It's okay. It tries to be shocking, but it doesn't have the imagination to be.
Or the talent. But luckily your review gets a B+. So that's at least something, I guess. Moving on, we have an 8mm film lost to time for good reason. I Am Zozo. This is what happens when your budget after buying 8mm film is 3 nickels and a dream. You get Bill trying to be as kind as possible, saying things like,
So it's got an interesting flavor to it. Right? Makes sense? So far?
Yeah.
I guess we have a theme again this week, as the A for effort and C for content is oozing all over this one. The most exciting thing that happens in this movie isn't much different than me on a Saturday night.
So they're drinking beers, and they bust out the Ouija board and start asking it questions, and then Mel.
It's not even an official Ouija brand Ouija board.
Yeah, it's some off-brand homemade K-Tel spirit enhancement board.
It's not even a real board. It's just like a roll of wax paper, and you rip one off for every time you can use it.
Mystic Oracle, I think is what it said.
Yeah.
Mystic Oracle spirit transmission system.
So what happens exactly when you mess around with a demon trying to use the Mystic Oracle Spirit Transmission System, or the MOSTS? Well, I guess the demon does close-up card magic for you and is mildly annoying.
It's like, what, does Zazu just give you a headache and then you play the cello? That's what happens?
Sure, why not? I give I Am Zozo a C-, just like you guys did, because I'm original. But I give the review a B. So nice work polishing that turd.
This is how you make a movie, and this is how your first one will look. Terrible.
So now that we got that shit out of the way, as far as what I've been watching, I know you're probably dying to know.
Nope.
Well, not much. Been too busy playing God of War Ragnarok, which so far looks amazing. The skin textures is just fucking insane. Has everything you come to expect from God of War, plus more. Some gripping story and character development, ripping monsters and gods into pieces without prejudice, dad bod Thor, and grunting ASMR by Kratos. But it does have one thing that just bugs the shit out of me. Too much hand-holding by the side characters. They're constantly either saying out loud something you just watched happen, like, oh, you broke that gear, or you just broke that box, or oh, that gate just went down, or good job solving that puzzle. Yeah, no shit. I solved it. It was a good job. Or they're like, I think I see something over there. Well, no shit. I can see it too. Jesus Christ, just let me explore and figure shit out myself. Half the time, if you just try and go off the beaten path just a little bit, they get upset about it.
Oh, hey. No, hey, don't, what are you doing? Like,
maybe they'll push another 90 gigabyte patch out and fix some of that, but that's really my only major gripe about the game. It's an amazing game otherwise, definitely worth your time, and I'd give it a solid A so far. A for Asgard. Well, I think that's about all my voice has left for this week, but make sure you all tune in to Outside the Cinema next week when Bill and Chris see a new movie.
Oh, look what we got now.
But due to their Thanksgiving turkey hangover, neither Bill nor Chris can recall the plot.
Is that what it was?
Why not?
Sure.
I don't remember.
And finally, Bill and Chris discuss how there's an 82% chance something will go wrong if they allow me to actually come back into the studio again.
That's a lot for the chance of getting fleas in the house.
Yeah. Also, like, major fire hazard, too, so.
All that and so many more fleas in the house. But until then, peace and love, guys. Outside the Cinema and Holy Shit with Reverend Scott.
One, you should know better, and one is good job.
Boogity boob. All right, sorry, I've told the soccer game has started. Sorry, the football game has started, so I'm paying more attention to that than anything else.
Oh, who's playing?
The U.S. and Iran winner makes it to the next round.
Huh?
So either that'll be good or it won't be, because it'll be a week ago. So anyway, so go to patreon.com/outsidethecinema, sign up there. That would be awesome. And I guess, we'll be back next week. We'll tell you all about it then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone have a good week and talk to you soon.